Hello, I welcome you all back to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss introduction to HTML. We are going to do HTML. If you remember or if you recall, in a previous video, we did a very simple website, and trust me, the feedback that has reached me is serious. It's awesome. You guys are developing a serious website from the mobilized software that we worked on previously in our previous video, and it's encouraging. It's encouraging. You can keep it up, okay? Keep it up, and perfect yourself on it. All right. So now we are going to learn HTML. Okay, we are going to do HTML, and HTML when you check the back end of the website that you created with a mobilize, you realize you have lots of HTML tags and elements over there. So now I want to know, we are going to tackle how to understand the back end of the website that you created. All right, so I'm going to create websites. We're going to learn how to create websites from scratch, all right, using HTML. All right, so today we are going to do PowerPoint alongside with a video. All right, okay, so let's start. Okay, so introduction to HTML for beginners. This one means as time goes on, we'll be advancing. So we'll be hitting the introduction for, or programming HTML, advanced HTML programming. You get it? All right. So what is HTML? So let's try to use the characteristics of HTML to define it. So let us understand what HTML is. All right. So we have here as HTML stands for, it's an acronym. HTML is an acronym, and it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That is the full meaning of HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. So all the web pages that you see when you search anything from Google or any other search engines, do you get it? Any website that you visit, all right, the content of that page is created with HTML. Without HTML, it will be difficult for you to come up with something like that. All right, though you get some CMS, the content management system, like Mobilize that we used, which is also used to do the web content, like to create web content and websites and other things. But still, at the back of that code, okay, that interface that you created holds the HTML. All right, okay, so that is what it means. The standard markup language for creating web pages. All right, then we have, it describes the structure of a web page. HTML describes the structure of a web page. All right, so when we move to the next slide, you understand what the structure means. All right, then it contains series of elements, and the elements tells the browser how to display the content. Okay, so when you probably in the next two slides, you see the structure of HTML, and you see the number of elements in it that are controlling the content of the web page. All right, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So let's see what the elements are. All right, so the structure of the element. Let's see the structure of the element. So for the structure of the element, is defined by the start tag, followed by some contents. All right, then an end tag. That is an element. All right. So for example, we have the tag name here. Tag name. Then you put your content here. All right, in the middle. Then you end the tag name. All right, so for example, is this H1, then your content, the tag name is H1, the content is I love my country, Ghana. Okay, then I close the tag, the element with the closing tag name, that is H1. So you bring the forward slash and H1. Okay, so that is how the open and the close elements, the open tag and the close tag. So that is how it is. So these elements makes up the web content. They tell the browser how to display the content. So with this, if we should run this H1, I love my country, Ghana, in our browser, it will display I love my country in a grand style, in a big font size. Do you get it? That is what it means. So at the end of our presentation, we'll do little coding and see how it appears in our browser. We'll do our first HTML coding. So all right, so this is going to be interesting. It's not difficult. It's very simple. So now let's see the elements. An example of HTML structure. This is an HTML structure. All right. So here we have every HTML structure. Every HTML page starts with this. doc type. The doc type, it defines the document type. All right, the name is doc type, document type, and this is a structure. So you bring your the less than, the tag is less than exclamation doc type, then HTML, then you close it. All right, so that is it. Then we have the HTML, we have the head, then we have some descriptions in the head. We close the head tag. Do you get it? Open and close. Then we have the body, then we have the HTML here. Okay, so what it means is this: if I see you, okay, if I see you, I can only mention your name by looking at the upper layer of your head. Okay, so your head defines most, like your head defines you. Let me put it that way. So let's say, in a midst of multitude, I see your face and I know that, hey, you are Felix, or you are Kwame, or you are Nanaya. Do you get it? By seeing your face. If I take your head off, it will be difficult for me to locate, your body. It will be difficult for me to locate you per your body without seeing your head. So same thing applies to HTML. Okay, the web page. We define the title of the page in the head. They get it. And we define the author of the page in the head. Okay, then some other styles. If you want to put color and other designs and other things, styling or this into, we have the inline. Okay, we do some of the styles too in the head. Do you get it? When you get to CSS, we realize we have inline, internal, and we have external. Okay, so for the internal, right? For the internal style in the internal CSS, we put them we put them in the head tag. All right. So the head here defines a whole lot of things. Okay. So if we have here the meta defines the author. We have series of meta to meta tag. We have series of them. We'll go to the meta information. We'll go to it and we'll get to know some of the content the meta holds. All right. And we have the title here, and this title mostly appears at the title bar, at the top of the browser. All right, you understand it very soon. Don't worry. And if you have any CSS file that you want to also call on this page, we use the links. We have the JavaScript to call the JS scripts, and here is the internal styling, the internal CSS. This is where we put them. So the head content here, they don't appear on the web page. They don't appear on the web page. All right, but they communicate effectively to the browser. You get it? They communicate effectively to the browser. Then comes the body. So you see from the HTML, this is a structure. It starts from the head, then it comes to the body, then it comes to the footer. All right, the body serves as the content. All right, so then we have the footer. So when you access any website, you realize we have from the top we have the head, then a body comes where you see some sliders and other content in there. Then the footer, that is below, that's the last what do you call it, last paragraph, or let me say the last division of the website. Then you see some post office addresses and other things defined in there. That is the footer. So that is the structure of HTML. We have the head, we have the body, then we have that the footer too. Do you get it? So the same thing applies to what we have here. Okay, great. So in the body here, when you run this file, when you run this page or this content, all right, in our browser, only what is your name, my name is Kwame Sianyebo will display on the web page. All right, hello world will display at the top. It's display on the top. All right, so when you go there, you will see. And we have H1 here and P. In the next slide, we will describe all this content that we see and see what each of them does. Okay, then at the end of the video, we will try to do some coding. We will code this same thing there and see how they appear. All right, so let's move on. So the HTML elements descriptions. So previously in the last slide, we saw the doc type to be this doc type HTML, and we are saying it defines that this document is an HTML document. As soon as you see that one, it defines the content below it. Do you get it? The contents are all HTML content. Then we have the HTML here, and it defines the root element of the HTML page. It also tells you that, yay, I am the root, I'm the parent container of the whole page. Okay. When we have the head, as we saw in the previous slide, the head contains the meta information about the HTML page. Do you get it? It contains data that are not displayed on the web page, no, on the web page. Okay, but they really communicate to the browser. All right. Then we have the title. You see, the title specifies the title of the home page. It specifies the title of the home of the, what do you call it? The title. It specifies the title of the HTML page, which is shown in the browser tab. Then we have the body too. So we say the body, it defines the document content. Right? All the content. It defines it there. Then we have, it serves as a container for all the visible content, such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, etc. So if you recall, in your website that you created in the previous video using the Mobilize, okay, everything that you saw, you drag and drop everything that you saw, all right, were all the contents of the website. Do you get it? They were all the content of the website. So it could be they were all there, the body of the website, including the footer and the other contents. Okay, and some hidden ones that you didn't see were the metadata and other things that you didn't see. All right, but now we are going to do it ourselves. Hard coding. We're going to do hard coding. All right. So we have the soft way and we have the hard way. Okay. All right. So we saw H1 and we said it defines the large font size. So the font size by default. All right. We have H1 to H6, and H1 is the biggest, and it follows that way. H6 is the lowest font size. All right. We'll play around them. When we get to the coding. All right. We plan to see how each of them reflects. Okay. Then we have a P, and the P defines a paragraph of an element of the P defines a paragraph on the home page. So you realize for every on the home page, you get the words, the content they are not together. So just as we write essay and letter writing and other things, we write them in paragraphs. So how to define your paragraphs? We use the P to define the paragraph. So when you see any content in a P, when you display it, you see it comes in a certain group, then it drops to a certain group again. So you have paragraphs presentation in there. All right. So let's see the metadata, the meta information, HTML meta information. So we are saying the meta information appears inside the head element. All right. Inside the head element, and it specifies the page description, the character set, keywords, author of documents, and viewport settings. All right. So sometimes you see when you are searching something, you are searching for content in Google or any other search engine. As soon as you type the name, list of results appears, and you see some content for every result. You see some content, a brief description of what the web page is trying to display. Do you get it? All those things are defined in the metadata. Do you get it? They form part of the meta data, all right, the meta information. So you see you get some description. Oh, okay, let's take this example. You see we have the description defining what the website does. All right, so you see we have this website contains information about myself. So that component that appears when you search for every that appears in the results of a searched. Do you get a search item in a search engine? Do you get it? Defines that description is a metadata that is working that way. So it is telling the search engine that, oh, pick this data and display it over there, so that somebody the person searching for that information will at least get to know that, oh, I like this content, so I'll go to that web page. Do you get it? So when you see the SEO, the SEO, we call them the search engine optimization. When you are engineering the SEO, these are the contents that you put there. You have to introduce your metadata and put those things there. And let's see who owns the web page. So you have the author here too, and the content, you put the name of the owner of the web page there. Are you following? Is it getting interesting? Yeah. Okay, then we have some keywords. So these keywords here defines some of the things. So if let's say I don't know what I'm searching for, but I need something on programming or cosmetics, I'll just put programming as part of my keywords content here. All right, keywords content. Okay, then you realize when I put the programming there, list of results will come. How did that one happen? Because most of them have defined the keywords in their metadata. So the search engine, the algorithm of the search engine has been programmed such a way that to just scout through all the web pages, all right, the websites, the website servers, and just pick all of them that are having that programming in their keyword. So if you are building a strong SEO, all right, as a what do you call it, search engine optimization, search engine optimization. If you are building a correct one, you should know the strategy that you are going to use defined in the metadata. Do you get it? Okay, so I think from now we've gotten to, at least we have a fair idea of a fair idea on HTML. Okay, so now let's go to let's flip to our phpstorm and see how the coding works. All right, so let's flip to that. So this is my phpstorm. All right, this phpstorm has been installed long ago. All right, it's one of the test data that we talk about in our earlier video. So if you don't have it, just visit our video, our installing the prerequisite materials. You see phpstorm there. Just install and crack it. All right. Okay, so I open my own here. Okay, so I'm going to create a file, an HTML file. Okay, then I put in some content, then we run it on our browser and see how it will reflect. Okay, yeah. So now I want to put, here they have 0 content here. So I want to create a file. I'll right click on this directory. I'll right click on the directory and go to new and go to HTML file. Okay, then I'll type the name of the file is index. I'll leave this side because it's an HTML5 file. All right, so I click OK. So the system, the application detects that we are coming to do HTML. So you see it has brought the structure by default for us. It has leveled the structure for us. Do you get it? Good. So what we have to do is just to put our content in here. So you see we saw doc type in the slide. We saw doc type, and so you have doc type here. Okay, you have the HTML. The language is English. That is what it means. Then the head, we have the meta character set has been set to UTF-8, the standard for web pages. We have the title, it's blank, so this is a blank web page. Okay, so now let's run it. Let's run this page and see how it appears. Okay, so let me just bring this one here. So you see we have a blank web page, entirely blank. And the title here, we have this localhost and so here. All right, so now let's seek to customize this web page. Okay, good. So now let's put the title here and see. So the title, let's say the title is hello world. Hello world. All right, so let's save, and now let's run it in our browser and see where it will appear. Okay, so you see we have hello world here. Do you get it? The hello world, so this is not the title of our page, hello world. Okay, it's interesting. It's interesting. So that is it. That is how simple it is. All right, so we have hello world here. So now let's go back in the body. Okay, in the body, let's put something like this the metadata, let's try to put something there. Let's say because we talk of the author, the description, the keywords and all those things, so let's try to use them as well. So the name of the meta is, let's say, author. The content is, let me use Kwame Siang Yeboah. February. And we close it. Then let's add the description. Meta name equal to the name is equal to description. The content is we have this web page contains information about myself. We close it. Okay, so we can have another one. Meta name is keyword. So we have the content to be, I can have here programming, comma, I can have here PHP, I can have here website, I can have here Kwame, I can have here etc. I can have here Tabri, I can have here Nanayao, etc. You can drop a whole lot of them. Okay, so I close it, then I save. Okay, so let me save it here, and let's run it and see if it will be meaningful to produce any meaningful. You see, they are not appearing here. Do you get it? They are not meant for the web page, so they will not appear here. Let's hover amounts here. This one didn't come. Do you get it? But when the search engine picks it, or if I'm sending the link to you on WhatsApp, you realize it will pop up. The description will come. Do you get it? So that is how it is. So it's not meant for the web page. That's why, as I told you earlier on, the metadata do not appear on the web page, but it communicates to the browser. Communicates to the browser and the search engines. All right. Anyway, let's go back. Now let's put something in a body. Okay. See how simple it is. It's not difficult. Let's put something in the body. All right. So let's put a head. Do you get it? Let's put headers over there. All right. Let's put headers over there. This is just an introductory section. All right. In our next video, we will do CSS. We will add CSS style sheet. We will be styling some things in there. We introduce some divs and other things. All right. We're taking it gradually. All right. Okay. So let's put H1. So H1, we say this is a header. Okay. Save. All right. So we save it. Let's run it and see what this one will produce here. So I reload. You see, we have this is a header. Wow. This is a header. Okay. So now we said we have the headers. The headers we have 1 to 6. So let's try to produce all of them. Header 1, header 2, header 3, header up to header 6, and see how each of them appears. All right. So let's go back. So I'll duplicate this. You can do copy and paste, but to duplicate this line, all right, this line, okay, I'll just put a cursor here and press Control D. You press and hold Control, and you hold it. You hold the Control key and press D. It duplicates it. All right. So I want 6 of them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me change it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now let me save it and run it and see how this one will appear. So I reload. You see we have them. We have H1, H2, H3, up to H6. So let me just make it more descriptive. All right. Let me make it more descriptive. So let's say this is H1. I'll copy and bring it down here. All right, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So I'll save them and I'll load them. Voila. So you see we have H1 to be the biggest font, H2, H3, H4, H4, H5, H6, H6, which is supposed to be the most biggest, is now the smallest, biggest. So these are all font sizes, right? They are all font sizes, and it comes with a lot. They have lots of tags here, all right? So this is by default. If you want to use the headers, you can use them like as it is, all right? But sometimes you want to define it your own. You want to customize them. That is where you bring in the CSS, the cascaded style sheet. You bring that one in, and the effects, surpass the headers over here. So you can define a header to be 2000 or 3, 500, 120, 10, and a lot of things. All right, but this is for just beginners level. All right, so we just want us to appreciate the elements and the tags that we have in here. Okay, so we define something. We brought in a paragraph too. So let's see how the paragraph also works. the P. So now let me put in my long essay. Okay. It's not standard English account right here. I'm just typing something. Okay. I'm just typing something. All right. I'll save it. Okay. So now let me see how it will appear. So this is how it appeared. All right. If I continue, let me go and duplicate them and see how they will appear too. So I'll put a cursor here on this line and press Ctrl D to have them in duplications. All right. I'll save. Then run it and see how the effect will be. Okay. So we have a continuation of them. All right. Okay. So now let's introduce another. Let's copy and paste it. Let's copy this. Let's copy the paragraph and paste it. You just want to appreciate what the P tag, means. All right. So we have 2 of them. They are the same, but there will be a break in both of them. Okay. So what it means here is we have this on one paragraph, and we have the other one on the other paragraph. Okay. So you see we have one white line in between them. You have one white line in between them. Okay, so that is how the paragraph also works. All right. So I'll end here. Okay. This is an introductory part of the HTML. So in the next video, we are going to do CSS. We are going to do CSS with the content that we have here. We are going to style it on our own way, in our own way. Understand the various types of CSS that we have. The 3. We have the inline, the internal, and the external. We'll go through the 3 of them and see how we apply them here. All right, and try to do some nice web divisions. Okay, web divisions. So introduce a new tag called div. The div. We introduce them in our next video. Okay, so I'll end here in this introductory video. I hope it's landed you well. Okay, you now understand the basic concepts of HTML. When you see any HTML tag, you wouldn't be worrying, hey, what are these? What are these things doing? Okay, so now it will be cool for you. All right, so we'll take it gradually. We're not in a rush. All right, we take it gradually. So just get your computer ready. Bye bye.